I said, who ate my steak? I said, who ate my steak?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I said, who ate my steak? I said, who ate my steak?
This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit.
I said, who
Who
ate
ate
my
my
steak? I
steak?
said, who ate
Ate
my
my
steak?
steak. Period.
Period.
Oh,
Period.
what a perfect way to start the episode today. Oh, goodness gracious. Hello, 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 house guests, and welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay, and I completely forgot to make my drink prior to this episode, so I'm gonna probably go do that at some point, but for now, I'm just drinking water.
Period. I mean,
I'm gonna
water's
go make
hydration
my
is good.
drink right now.
I
Hydration
mean,
is important, but I need some caffeine. So
that's,
Yeah.
here. Well, hello, house guest. I am Lana, your resident diva. I'm here to give the tea, spill the tree, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. And guess what? I am now a house guest in the Big Brother house. I'm going to the Big Brother house. Ah! Oh, well. This is my dream. So when this happens, you all know for real, when I get my real key, it's going to be something. But for right now, I got my key. But I am also just drinking water because hydration is important. And yeah, why not? But, if I was drinking, not in the middle of the night. If I was drinking anything else, I would probably be drinking it out of my cup mug, da na 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 na, cup mug, da na 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 na, cup mug. Period. And you can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. Link in the description below. Period. Oh, and it's tickering across the screen right now.
As
Mhm.
it should be. And hi, it is Brooke with the Lays.
What the la- Not the lace.
Not the Lays. Yeah, we got to support our Taylor Hale, mother goddess, Queen Taylor Hale today.
Period.
Regardless, I'm a queer college graduate who plays way too much at Smash Bros. And for the past little bit, I have finally finished Death's Door. Yay! The game is incredible. It's fantastic. If you have time and or money and or effort, go play it. It's on everything. Great game. And yeah, dear Lord, what a mess have we stumbled into this week on Big Brother.
I mean, I don't think we've ever started a episode where we hadn't said, "Good Lord,
Lord.
what a mess we stumbled into this week." I mean, because it's been a mess since day one, and it will continue to be a mess, I figure, till day 100. So I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? Let's just jump right into this mess. Let's be knees deep in their crap and in their mess. But I feel like the fun that we had this week topped it off this morning with who ate
Ate
my
my
steak.
steak.
I said, who
Who
ate
ate
my
my
steak?
and we'll talk about it more
Yeah.
later on in the program. But first,
But
make sure to subscribe, hit all the buttons except for that dislike button, because we're going to be here covering all of BB25, which does bring us to a very quick moment we do want to talk about very quickly. Obviously, there is still the ongoing discourse about Jared and his use of the R word and not being removed from the house. And we've seen several reality TV and Big Brother reviewers speaking out openly about that over this last week. Specifically, Maddie over at Mad Rose D, as well as Sarah from Nerdtainment. Sarah did announce today that she will not be covering Big Brother anymore due to a multitude of reasons. But knowing her a little bit myself and knowing about her long and extensive history of working with Special Olympics, which is something that I share as well. I definitely think the Jared situation, I know the Jared situation was weighing very heavily on her. And it's weighing very, very heavily on Maddie as well. So I just want to send love to both of those amazing wonderful creators in our reality TV space, because they both continue to and have done so much work for us to honestly even really be able to be here today talking about Big Brother. They are two of the bigger platforms when it comes to people talking about Big Brother and other reality shows. So we just want to send all of our love over to them. We are going to continue to cover this season. It's a choice that we made. We are enjoying a lot of aspects of this season. And you know, we were in a very similar situation last year when Lana and I were covering BB24, and we also chose to stop covering the season because of the early mistreatment of Taylor, the racism, the misogyny, all of that. So we definitely understand and respect, you know, anyone's decision to not cover this show, because there comes a breaking point for everybody when it comes to what you can handle and what you can watch and what you can consume basically 24 hours a day for 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to send all our love out there to them, as well as everybody else who is affected by both what Luke has said earlier in the season, as well as what Jared has said. And as a panel with both Black people and neurodivergent people on it, we want to continue to highlight the people that are doing the work, the people that have chosen to step away, as well as what is happening in the house, because, you know, there does need to be some people still there to hold Big Brother accountable and to hold the executive producers accountable. So that is what we're choosing to do with this season.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being said, who ate Mimi's steak? I would like to know. Actually, we do know.
We do know. Jared and Matt.
It was no
Jag and Matt. Jag and Matt ate her steak.
But
which, yeah, you
how
ate
dare
her
you?
steak. How dare you?
Because so we are going to be covering the last 2 days in the Big Brother house, days 34 and 35.
Yeah, I think so.
Today is yes. So today is day 36.
I believe. Let me double check.
I'm getting my days as mixed up as Sari is now.
Honestly, I mean, it's been to that point where it feels like it's been like 3 months. So we have to. Okay, today is day 37 in the Big Brother house.
Oh.
Day 36 and 37, which does make sense because it's been like no. Okay, is Joker's a day behind?
I don't count Joker. I don't count by Jokers, if I'm being honest. I count by, and shout out to Reality Barbecue at RBBQ, because they are one of the greatest live updaters. They said that yesterday, which was Red's birthday, was day 35. Therefore, today is day 36.
Sounds right to me.
Sure.
So I'm going to say, so we are on day 36 in the Big Brother house. A lot has happened. Shocker. We always come back to these reviews, like you were saying, Lon. It's like, good Lord, what is happening?
But got split ups with alliances and a flirt man split up, and we got crazy come with the vote as usual. Like it's been a week.
It's been a week.
The last 72 hours have really been divide and conquer.
Yep.
Honestly,
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. So here's where we're at with this week. Here's what we know. Here are all of the baseline things that have happened. Obviously, Jared is the HOH. Red and Cameron were put on the block at the start of this week. Cameron won the veto, used the veto on himself at the veto meeting, and Jared nominated Jag in his place, meaning that tomorrow either Jag or Red will be evicted for real this time.
For real this time.
What we learned from feeds before on Monday when we were covering everything is that there was a last minute push for America to be the replacement nominee that morning, but she was not ultimately put on the block, obviously, because Jag is up there. And Blue was the one that suggested Jag should go up. We talked about the whole 7 deadly sins of it all, which is slowly starting to become a more real alliance for Sari.
Yeah.
Which I find very interesting, because we've seen over the last couple of days, we've had a target shift again.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, hey, this is the first time it shifted, and it seems like it's going to stay that way. Because it has changed in the past day and a half.
Yeah.
The numbers on the vote have changed a smidge, but like nothing crazy has happened.
Yeah.
Right now, because originally Jag was getting backdoored. Now it's looking like Red's going to go home tomorrow night.
Yeah. So this all stems from a conversation that Jared and Red had on Monday night, where they were talking about future plans. And Red is saying, yeah, no, I'm 100% okay with Cameron going home. I would put Cameron on the block. I'm ready to work with you to take out Cameron, which I believe Red is 100% telling the truth about.
Mm-hmm.
Red feels very betrayed by Cameron. And so I personally, just from what I've seen on feeds and from the conversations that have been had, I do believe that Red is 100% serious about targeting Cameron next week if he wins HOH. Unfortunately, Jared is still concerned about the potential rekindling of Red and Cameron, which I think is a very valid concern of Jared to have. So that evening, Jared was talking with Sari and Izzy, and I believe Felicia and Mimi were in on that conversation as well. And they decided that they are going to flip the vote, target Red. And the original vote breakdown for that was going to be 6-4 to evict Red, with the 4 other votes coming from Sari, Matt, potentially Bowie Jane, and Cameron, obviously, because Cameron's not going to vote to evict Red. So there was also the idea of like maybe Mimi if it wasn't going to be Bowie. Sari and Matt continued to have that conversation, and they were concerned about the optics of that and whether Cameron would find out anything. So they have since decided that they are going to vote to evict Red as well, meaning that where we kind of stand right now is that we think, and again, anything can happen in the next day and a half, but we think Red will be evicted tomorrow by a vote of 8-2, with the 2 coming from Cameron and Bowie Jane.
Which, yay, not a Unan. Yay. But, like, even then.
I mean, I am kind of happy it's not going to be unanimous for the first time this season, but also, like...
This is the vote we're splitting on? This one? I mean, okay, let's keep it 100. Do either one of these people have very good odds of making it more than, like, 3 more weeks? Maybe 4.
If they win out.
I mean, other than winning out. I mean, winning out is always a possibility. But, like, outside of winning out, and also, they've both, I think, have both only won 1 competition each, right?
Correct.
And we're 5 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. I don't think either one of them will last too much longer because, honestly, out of both of them, me personally would rather see Jag go. And that might be an unpopular opinion, but I would rather see Jag leave because Jag is playing the worst game I've ever seen in my life. Like, he doesn't even know when he's safe to just be quiet. Like, this week, he was doing everything in his power to get himself on the block again. So the fact that he's up there again, I'm not surprised by, because he doesn't know how to shut up. Like, seriously, your friend was the HOH. You shouldn't be on the block. Like, logistically, you shouldn't be on the block when your friend is the HOH. But what you did was start sussing everybody out and freaking everybody out and interrogating everybody on votes that happened 2 weeks ago. Well, you should have just sat there and ate your salad and be quiet and let the chips fall where they may and work on rebuilding relationships with the people in the house instead of worried about a stupid vote. I don't care. You got voted out 10-0. Everybody voted you out. Everybody voted you out. So therefore, I don't even know what the questions is. Why did y'all vote me out? Because we did. It don't matter. It's over. You're still here. Suck it up, buttercup, and move on. You can be in your feelings, but you don't express that. You keep that to yourself and know that when you get your turn in power, you don't owe none of them nothing because they all voted you out.
I mean, yeah. And the other thing that's on top of that, too, the only person I could think of that Jag should have been trying to form a better relationship with was Suri. And at the first part of the week, he did that, right?
Yeah.
The first day after his eviction Friday night was when the whole Jag, Matt, Suri of it all came together, right? Yeah. And that was when I was like, great, do nothing else for the rest of the week.
Right.
Chill, vibe, and do nothing else. And then he just kept going. He just could, literally, he was the Energizer Bunny. He just kept going and going and going. And to the point where Suri, who he formed a final 3 with this week, wanted him gone up until yesterday.
Yes.
Right? And now we're at a point where if he does go home, I mean, I don't think he will right now, but it could happen. I mean, if he gets at home, if he gets revolving door, he is the only person that has any room to blame for that.
Nobody, bro.
And like, if you're gonna do that kind of interrogation, wait until the nominations are locked. Like, wait until Monday evening, and then be like, "Okay, I'm safe for the rest of this week. What happened?" Like, don't even take time to reflect. Take time to breathe. You're not being targeted this week. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the fact that you were going around asking every single person, "Why'd you vote for me?" Like, I don't think he would have gone up.
I don't think he would have. It would have been.
I think it would have been Bowie Jane.
Or Bowie Jane.
Fucking Bowie Jane.
Honestly, it could have even been America. It would have
been America or Bowie Jane at that point because Jared don't like America and he don't really like Bowie Jane. So if you would have just, like I said, zip your lip, eat your salad, call it a day, you wouldn't have even been a option. But because you started sussing people out and being all Magnum PI and just want to interrogate everybody, now people are like, okay, well, he can go too. You're giving people reasons to be like, I mean, put them both on the block. Either one of them go, it's okay with me. I'm fine. They're okay with, when they put you on the block, they're okay with you going home. Yeah. And so you say, I don't want to be a perpetual pawn, but you keep making yourself the pawn.
I mean, we're at a point now with Jag, right, where his position in the house has gotten to a point where he really can't do much other than win. If he wins HOH tomorrow, right, that would be fantastic for his game, assuming he's still there, because then maybe he can form, like, I don't know, genuine relationships instead of these, like, superficial ones that definitely aren't going to carry him much longer in the game. But if he does, like I said, if he does end up going home, it's his fault because he overplayed on a week where he shouldn't have had to play at all.
You didn't have to. Mm-hmm.
Well, that kind of goes into as well, like, now that we have the nominations locked, neither one of them are really doing a whole lot of campaigning this week. And they're both kind of resigned to, like, well, if I go home, I go home. So it's like Jag's been talking and saying, like, oh, I'm not going to do what I did last week. I'm not going to do any, like, in-depth campaigning. I'm just going to trust that, like, because America told him a little bit about the ever-growing plan of taking out Red once the vote flip happened. And Corey was informed, so America was informed. And America let Jag know. Jag is like, well, I guess I don't really need to do all that much campaigning. And on the flip side of that, Red is doing absolutely no campaigning and straight up told Suri the other day that if she doesn't, because Suri's been telling Red, I'm going to make sure I have the votes to keep you. At least that was the case Monday morning. Mm-hmm. And now, and during that conversation, Red was like, well, if you don't end up having the votes to keep me, I'm not going to look at you differently and I'm not going to take it personally. And I'm like, so do you want to be here? Like, I don't...
I from both of their perspectives, though, because if you're playing it like Red, you think you have the votes to stay, and he thinks he's safe. And Jag thinks he's safe. And if they both think they're safe, they're not going to go out and campaign for more votes if they think they have enough to stay. Only difference here is Jag is right and Red is wrong, at least as of present recording. So
for now.
I'm about to say, at the point when he was talking to Cerise, he was right and Jag was wrong.
Literally.
And so, and this is the thing, and this is why Cerise is doing the best job ever in this house, is because everybody who talks to Cerise, if she tells them you have the vote, they trust that and they relax. They're like, well, we got it, then I don't have to do much because Cerise going to do it. Cerise going to make it happen. And if Cerise say I got the votes, then I must have the votes. Now, if America would have told him he had the votes, he wouldn't believe none of that, and he'd still be out there campaigning. If Corey told him he had the votes, he wouldn't believe none of that. He'd be out. Even when Bowie Jane if Bowie Jane said he got the votes, he don't believe that because he know Bowie Jane ain't got no agency in this house. But who has agency is Cerise. And when Cerise says, I'm going to get the votes to keep you, he like, well, good. And if you can't, I understand. Do what you got to do. He's saying that because he feels like he's going to have the votes. Now that the vote is flipped and Jag is hearing Cerise is making this plan that we got the votes, he like, oh, I'm going to calm down. Mm-hmm. That goes back to the power of Cerise in this house. And the fact that people know it, but yet they still ain't doing nothing about it is mind-blowing. But me personally, as a Cerise stan, I am loving it. And I don't care about a steamroll. I'm here for a Cerise steamroll. I'll watch it all day long and be as giddy and happy as a lamb and a pig in the mud. I'm like, yeah, steamroll Cerise. But
that's the thing. It's not even a Cerise steamroll, though, because to me, a steamroll is you have one alliance who controls everything every week and sends everybody home. I don't think one person counts as an alliance. Okay,
Cerise has everybody in an alliance.
Exactly.
And that's where the steamroll is, because everybody's going to protect Cerise. Everybody. It doesn't matter who's HOH, except America.
Literally,
they protected Cerise.
Yeah. And then the other thing on top of that is, and like we mentioned, it's almost like a Big Brother solar system, and Cerise is the sun in the middle of it, right? They all need her right now. At least in their minds, they need her. Some of them may not, but that's how they perceive it, right?
Yeah.
And in Big Brother, perception of how you are perceived by others.
Yep.
The game itself.
Well.
Oh, am I the good?
It happens.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I blipped. But like, she's the center of the universe, right? And they think they need her. And if their perception is that they need her, they're going to keep her around. And I think America now, based off of the whole Felicia and Cerise of it all, which we're going to get into, like, I could see her, instead of putting up Felicia and Cerise, I could see her putting up Cerise and Izzy. I could see her putting up Felicia and somebody else, I don't think she's going to immediately take a shot at the two of them anymore if she is aware of what's going on. But right now, I mean, America's also been kind of busy with some other things at the moment, so there's that too.
Do we move to the Cerise Felicia, or do we move to the AmeriCorey? Where do we want to?
I think Cerise Felicia, since you.
I agree.
So we are seeing not the split necessarily, but we are seeing a wedge driven between Cerise and Felicia, because Cerise, Izzy, and Jared are realizing Felicia is doing a lot of talking to everybody. She's letting alliance names slip to people that aren't part of the alliances. She's having a difficult time keeping everything together. And she's spreading a lot of information to a lot of people that the Fields family don't want knowing information. Specifically, Corey in America, Bowie Jane, like it. Fucking Bowie Jane.
Do we have the sound?
It's yes, we do actually. Hold on.
Fucking Bowie Jane.
There it is.
There.
Fucking Bowie Jane. But now, and we'll bring it up a little bit later too, because Izzy and Jared have been going through their endgame scenarios this morning. Felicia does not account anywhere close to their endgame at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, I don't blame them.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of figured Suri was going to want to take Felicia out at some point. Regardless of, the situation that Felicia is currently in with how much she's talking. Because, Suri knows that when she is going to be taken to the end because these people don't think she can win competitions, they're kind of right. And because of all that mess, right? Yes, Felicia won an HOH. It was the putt-putt HOH. Ain't saying a lot. Outside of that, right, Felicia probably not the best comp competitor either, as we have seen. And I think Suri, in her mind, recognizes that her place in a lot of people's games, in terms of where they see her in game, could also be filled in by Felicia. In that, Felicia is a older woman, not great at comps, someone we could take to the end and cut near the end, that's going to be loyal to us. And, Suri's very perceptive. She understands how people look at the world and how they look at Big Brother, Survivor, whatever. And if she, she's recognizing that, I need to make sure that anyone who could fill the slot that I am to these other people is gone. And I think that's why she's, and that'd be one reason, even if without the talking, I could feel like her doing it. Plus the talking, it's another reason. So Suri's just picking it up early, as she always does.
Yeah.
Here's my little thought on Felicia and Suri. I think this was bound to happen because Felicia, she doesn't know how to stop talking. And Suri, being someone who plays these games, knows better to when it's time to talk, when it's time not to talk. And Felicia is a watcher at home, and she's like, if I was there, I would do this. If I was, I would do this and I would do this. And she's a straight shooter in life. So she's like, I'm not going to hold my tongue in this house for nobody. I'm going to keep it real and do me and blah, yah, yah, all of that. But you can't do that in this house because it turns into you being controlling and bossy and annoying because now you're being like everybody's mother. You're already older. They already see you as the mom of the house. And now you're acting like the mom of the house. The fine line is for you to be the mother of the house without acting like you're the mother of the house. I can cook in the house and I can make sure everybody's eating. I can make sure everybody, is the house is cleaned up. I can make sure that the stuff is being done but when you're turning into the nagging mother, go to bed. It's 3:00. Why we got to be up so late? Why we got to do this? Why y'all doing this? Oh, you going home. Oh, I'm telling you the truth. I mean, she is. What are we holding it back for? Why are we hiding it? You can't play those games like that, especially when you have no power. And the fact of the matter is she feels very comfortable because she had power. Then Cameron had power, and now Jared has power, and nobody's looking at her. But now the tides are turning, and everybody's getting sick of Felicia's version of being the mom of the house because she's becoming the nagging mom of the house. Suri is still the mother of the house, but not in the way where they feel like she's telling them what to do. The only person she's really telling what to do, and even he ain't listening, is her own son, and she got every right to tell him what to do because she gave birth to him. So I'm gonna tell you what to do. But everybody else, she's not like, y'all need to go to bed. Y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do this. This ain't right. This is gross. This ain't clean. You got to clean this. You got to eat this. You got to go here. You can't do that in a house full of 20, 30 year somethings. You know what I'm saying? Who left their parents behind. They didn't come here with their mama. They ain't come here for that. They came here to be on their own and do their own thing. And so Felicia is not playing the fine line game that she needs to play. And so therefore now it's coming back to biting her in the butt. And even because, like, I don't fault her for trying to play her own game outside of Cerise. She should play her own game outside of Cerise. She should try to make connections with other people outside of Cerise. And, you know, but the fact of the matter is, and this is no fault of Felicia, because she didn't know Jared is Cerise's son. She don't know that. But she just happened to fall into the trap of telling the wrong person something that about Cerise that got back to her. And, you know, that's the game, unfortunately. But she just has a way now of making it uncomfortable for people because she's getting too comfortable and power hungry and like very like, I can just say what I want to say and you just got to deal with it. It's it's not going to work that way. And so this has got her in some very hot water and some in a bad way. I don't know if she's going to recover. I think she's becoming the target that people are really starting to look at, like, only because she's getting on their nerves. She has to calm down, but I think it might be a little too late for that, in my opinion.
I do worry about her position, you know, long term with a lot of people, especially with where I think if, you know, because right now we've seen Izzy, Jared, and Suri are all kind of like factoring her out of their in-game plans, you know. If they factor her out, who's going to take her to the end? You know, who's going to want her to be there? You know, I don't think Felicia's going to have a problem making it to the jury as of right now, but I could definitely see like a week 8, a week 9 situation where it's like, oh, our target won. Well, let's go ahead and just get Felicia out of here.
Exactly. Like someone wins the veto, takes himself off the block. Oh, we'll put up Felicia. Oh, if Felicia goes, okay, like, yep. If there's a universe where like it's Blue versus Felicia, oh, we want Blue to stay, so we'll this seems like the right time to take out Felicia. Like,
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like when Indy went home last season. Of
like, yeah. No, you're 100% correct.
That's a situation that I could see it happening where Indy's on the block. Not exactly who we wanted to go home this week, but oh well, it's just how it's going to have to work.
But we don't really see a game future with Indy involved in it necessarily. Like if she goes or if she stays, it's whatever.
Whatever. Exactly.
And I mean, I don't think Felicia's going to be number 1 on anybody's target list, but I can, like, especially in a world where, let's say, America wins HOH next week, and she does follow through with putting up Felicia and Suri. I mean, let's keep it 100. Half that house is going to save Suri with the veto. So, I mean, when you see Suri's off the block, unless she's up against Cameron, at this point, do you think anybody doesn't stay over Felicia? Probably not. And
the only I was going to say the only other person that I think maybe people would take a shot at would be America.
Yeah, but if it's HOH, you know, because she's the only person that said she's going to put
true.
Yeah. If she's HOH and, you know, Cameron and Suri's off the block, whoever she puts up against
Felicia,
outside of maybe Cameron.
Maybe Bowie Jane.
I was gonna say maybe fucking Bowie Jane.
Maybe Bowie Jane. If Cameron or Bowie Jane is up there.
When a lot of people, I mean, for one, Bowie Jane is coasting, right? She's not even floating. She's just coasting, having a good time in the house, right?
Yeah.
And you know, hey, I wouldn't do that, but fair play to you for doing it. Whatever, you're allowed to do whatever you want in that house within reason.
Bowie Jane has made it very clear that she just wants to make jury. So as long as she makes jury, she's fine. And she's going to make jury. And that's perfectly fine. But if Bowie Jane sits next to Felicia, Bowie Jane can go. If Cameron sits next to Felicia, Cameron will go. If anybody else sits next to Felicia, it might be Felicia. Because they'll be like, what's the point? We can't keep her over this person and this person. You know, it's nobody else in that house who would leave over Felicia at this point. And that's kind of sad because Felicia was very much at the top of it where nobody wanted to put her up in the first place. And now she's at a point where everybody's like, I mean, if she go up, she go up. And if she go up, she can go home. It's fine. No real, you know.
I mean, but that's the thing though. I feel like Corey in America, right, don't think of her that way, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to come down to one of those things of if Felicia is perceptive enough to jump ship from the Suri family to AmeriCorey, if that's even still a thing next week. Again, we'll talk about it. but like that duo, or maybe like just get away from that side of the house entirely, right? Then maybe she could hang in there longer and become that for a different portion of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also going to depend on America and Corey, if they're going to still be working together for the long term. It's also going to depend on if Felicia can have a good enough of a read to sense her position. And that's a really tough thing to do in this house sometimes.
Very true. And speaking of the AmeriCorey of it all,
Yeah,
I think this is a good way to jump into that because
I was gonna say as well. Yeah, let's shift there because I mean we've seen Corey just constantly throwing America under the bus, and then the moment someone decides to come after America, he's like, "But wait," and it's like, so you're the only person that can do anything or talk shit about America. Okay, noted. America's finally caught on.
mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. And she realizes, yeah, Corey gives me virtually no game information. I'm finding out everything I need to know right now from Sari, from Izzy, from Felicia. You would think if I'm duoed with someone, maybe they would be the one to tell me things.
Mm-hmm.
She's even finding out from Matt
Mm-hmm.
and Matt's been talking shit about her too. So it's just like, I think we said it on Monday. We're going to say it again. America, we have a problem.
We have a problem.
I don't think I'm starting to not think America is long for this game, unfortunately.
After, again, theoretical world, Red goes home tomorrow, right? I think America is probably like second or third most likely to go home the next week, and that sucks because I really enjoyed her as a game player, as a character on the show. She's been great, but like, again, I don't really think America leaving really weakens anybody's game, even Corey's. I think Corey honestly would probably be in a better position if America wasn't in the house. Yeah. So like, I feel bad saying it, but I do think if America leaves, it kind of becomes easier for a lot of people to keep going.
America, girl, you in danger, girl. You are in danger, and your duo is screwing you up even more with the crap that he talking, and then we're trying to turn around and say, but no, not America. Even though I just said it should be America, but I really don't want it to be America. And I love that she caught on. I hope I do like America. I think she is a fun person in this house to watch on feeds because she is everywhere. She's just like talking to people. She is moving around, and I wanted so much for America. I was hoping America, Mimi, Corey could possibly link up and get that trio business started.
I still think it's possible.
It is always possible.
Here's my scenario. Because of where everything is happening right now, there's a lot of people that are like, I don't necessarily feel as good with Sari as I want to. Mm-hmm. I think if all of those people actually talk about it, I think there's a universe where we could see America, Corey, Mimi, Felicia, and Jag form this counter and probably for numbers' sake pull in Bowie and Cameron for now and go against that core.
The problem with that is that requires all of these people to be on the same page.
And they won't be.
And they never will. I could see that maybe happening without Cameron.
I agree.
I don't think Cameron will be involved in this whatsoever. Cameron has been the house target for 2 weeks now, virtually 3.
I think if they need a number, they know Cameron will go against what's happening because they know that Sari and Co. are targeting Cameron. So if there's someone going against Sari and Co., I think Cameron, if he is available to be a number to be used, I think they will use him for a short term. But I agree with you. I mean, he has been the house target now for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then on top of that, too, you also have to think about, like, where does Izzy stand in all of this? Because, yes, she has been pretty loyal to Suri and Jared since the beginning of the game. But even here lately, she's been talking about maybe jumping ship as well.
We gotta
We'll talk about that now when we're like here with it.
Yeah, she had a storeroom conversation with the camera this morning where she's like, I don't know. I know I should probably turn against Suri and Jared, but it would make the experience of the house worse for me. And so now she's kind of going back and forth. She's like, I need to start playing my own game, which is what I've been wanting to see from Izzy. It's like, I want to see Izzy. I want to see what Izzy can do separate from Suri and Jared. And I don't necessarily think she will inherently go against them yet. But I think we're starting to see, I think the next couple of weeks of Power are going to be really, really interesting to see what specifically happens in that regard.
And I think that's the other really cool thing about Big Brother that's always been there is that unlike Survivor, where eventually it's one group gets in power and unless something crazy happens, that's typically who stays in power for the rest of the season, right? You have every week, there's that tiny itty bitty chance that like Cameron or America or whoever, somebody who's not in a good position, can win HOH. So it's really going to come down to, one, what's the comp? Because we don't know what the comp is yet. But two, who's going to be able to rebound from their position if anybody's going to. Or if, Suri, Jared, Jared can't win HOH, but like Suri, Izzy, one of them wins HOH. Or if it's going to be one of the underdog groups that has to like try to find their way back into the house dynamics.
Yeah.
Also, can we just do a quick talk about Mimi real quick?
Please.
Okay. In a house where everyone, and I mean everyone, has been a target, okay? Has been somebody, if I win HOH, that's who I'm putting on the block. Everybody's name at some point has been out there, except for Mimi. And when I'm watching that, and this is going to be a terrible comparison on the surface level, but it's really giving me Steve from BB17. Like, lay under the radar, keep my name safe, keep my name out of other people's mouths. Hasn't had to win a comp yet. Good for her. Hasn't been anybody's primary target. Isn't anybody's best friend, but she's everybody's like third or fourth best friend. And everybody is keeping her filled in. And she's making decisions that are smart for her game. This is the kind of game that people need to do when they are playing the floater game. Because she's floating brilliantly.
She is giving me Steve. I'm going to say it right now. She's giving me June Song. She's giving me Allison. She's giving me a little bit of Maggie even. She's giving these good, solid, consistent floater game. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love when someone can float and float correctly. And Mimi is doing that.
And you know what the common thread that all of those people have in common except for Allison Logan? They all won.
And Allison was a runner-up. And the only reason Allison didn't win is because June won. So...
I mean, and again, if you look at it, too, I mean, Andy Herron, same situation.
I was going to say, yeah, Andy to an extent, yeah.
And then it's also giving me a little bit of Dan Giesling on Big Brother 10. Like, his early gameplay, was pretty similar to this. After the first week where he was in a bad spot, he integrated himself back better into the house, worked his magic, and then he was good for a long while after that. And I think right now, if I was going to say somebody I think is destined to make it to the end of this game, it would have to be Mimi. Like, I don't see a world unless we get like a complete steamroll by the Fields family and all of that. And the final three is Suri, Jared, and Izzy, where Mimi's not in the final five at minimum.
I was about to say 4 or 5.
Well, so that brings me to another thing that happened today. But I want to round out the Mimi conversation first because I think she's doing exactly what she needs to. She's showing that she's useful in competitions. She was third in Pressure Cooker. She's done very consistently well in the comps that she's competed in. She ran in her heels.
Icon.
She's created iconic memes, iconic moments.
Iconic.
That has nothing to do with the game. But what I will say is I think like you said, Brooke, no one's thinking about touching Mimi at all.
And you want to know what else? She looks fabulous doing it every single time. Face card never declines. My God. And her outfits every Thursday is something I look forward to. Like, what is Mimi going to be wearing? What new picture am I going to put on my profile? Because every week I change it to something that Mimi is looking iconic in. So I agree with you, Brooke. She is nobody's primary target. Like, it was the one time where her name kept coming up when doing Felicia's HOH. And even that was like, maybe Mimi. Let's go to somebody else. Matt, Mimi, Red, Cameron, Mimi, America.
And that
Corey, Mimi. And then it was like, not Mimi. It's going to be so-and-so.
Yeah, and that was giving me very much the Survivor of it all, of like, everybody could be a target. Let's weigh all of our options. And I don't even think someone that were like serious, like, yeah, this is who we should put up. It was more like, well, let's at least consider the option and see what that does for our games.
Yep.
That's another thing that Cerie's been doing the entire season, is she has been weighing her options consistently, not letting the start of a week dictate how the week ends, and not letting anything like that happen. Granted, the person who has been the target every week going in has been the person that's went home until this week. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for, one, Cirie or her game, or two, it's a really good thing for Mimi, because Mimi hasn't had to make any targets herself.
Right.
You know, she's just been, I don't want to say coasting, because she's not coasting.
No, she's floating.
No, she's floating.
Floating her way on, you know.
Beautifully floating.
Yeah, and to compare that to Bowie Jane, who is coasting. Bowie Jane's not integrating herself with anybody. Bowie Jane's not anybody's number 3 or number 4 except for Red and Cameron. And guess what? One of them tomorrow, and the other one probably isn't going to work with her when he doesn't have Red there to hold them together.
Yeah.
Fucking Bowie Jane.
Yeah. Bowie Jane. It's very interesting the way this is shaped out, and I'm loving it. I feel like the power is always moving. It's very fluid, more fluid than I thought it was going to be. And I think once Heisem left, the doors opened for it to be more fluid than ever before. And then it had to be fluid when Cameron won the HOH, because it was like, he's the target. We wanted him gone, but we got to work with him now because he's the HOH. So let's figure this thing out. And it's just been moving ever since. So I kind of, that's why I'm like, I'm not quite ready to give up on this season quite yet, because it's still interesting. It's crazy. It's a lot of twists. It's a lot of turns. It's a lot of back and forth. It's annoying. It's reckless. It's all of the things, but it's entertaining to watch it. Sure, it's some bad parts, and I'm like, ugh, you can really do without this part. But overall, this has been a really good season of Big Brother. And even though the episodes are boring as crap, the feeds and the drama, it's not even big drama like fight drama, like, oh my God, I hate you, like season 6 where they yelling across, or season 10 when they yelling across, and we having a whole big house fight. I mean, not that I wouldn't mind a house fight, but we're not having a whole house fight right now, but it's still drama happening, and it's little fires being set, like little fires around here, and the seeds that are being thrown. Like, one thing about this game and about these people, they are planning for weeks in advance with the little things that they're doing right now. Like, Cirie has been planting for Felicia's downfall, but not outright saying she gotta go. It's just like, you hear what she's saying? She said this, and everybody like, yep, co-signing and agreeing, and like, and then the stories come. She did this, and she said this, and she did this, and it's getting on my nerves, and I can't stand it. How come she got to be like this? And it's like, she got to go. She needs to go. The whispers happen and it might not happen next week. It might not happen in 2 weeks, but 4 weeks down the line, the seeds that that Cerie has threw out there will take root and will start planting, and Felicia's gonna be in trouble. And everybody is doing that, which I kind of love. Like, as much as we talked about Riley back 2 weeks ago when she was there, she planted seeds that are now taking root. Hyson planted seeds that are now taking root. Now Saria's planting seeds that are going to take root, and everybody is like just falling into these plans. And I kind of love that dynamic in this house. So it's very interesting to see. I love watching feeds, going to bed, waking up, and seeing what changed from the few hours that I woke up. I went to sleep.
What is now completely different.
What is now completely different. I'm like, oh, I went to bed thinking it was going to be Jag, and wake up and nope, it's red. It's like,
it's red now. Yeah.
I love that. I love all of it. And so I know some people aren't agreeing with the whole, they don't like the season, they don't like the way it's turned. I personally am enjoying the twists, the turns, the dynamics, the power shifts, the seeds being planted. I'm loving it. This is what Big Brother is. This is the game. And if you're not a fan of strategic foolery and nonsensical issues, then you're not really a fan of strategic games, because it got to be some nonsensical foolishness when you're trying to play strategic, games. And it's just fun.
I think the difference with this season, and we've kind of been saying it since the start, is like Cerie's impact really is turning this season into more of a Survivor style Big Brother season. And if you're a fan of Big Brother and Survivor, for the most part, you're loving this season.
Yeah.
A, because Cerie is on it, but B, because this season really does feel a lot more like Survivor in the way people are aligning, breaking off alliances. It feels like we've finally gotten the sort of voting block style in Big Brother, which I've been wondering, when is that going to happen? Serena to happen. I think if you're not a fan of Survivor and you're just a fan of Big Brother, for the most part, you're not liking this season, because this is an anomaly season. And we said, I talked about it a little bit last week, is like, is this season going to be considered an anomaly when we look back a few years from now? Or is this season going to start defining a new meta for the way to play Big Brother in future seasons? I'm excited to see regardless.
Like we mentioned last week, it's literally Survivor Cambodia right now.
Yeah.
Right. And, factoring out Karong, right? Any season after that had part of like Cambodia's like essence on it to a degree, right? And it's really going to come down to, are the seasons going to, change? Are we going to get this type of, everybody is constantly in flux, there's nothing rigid going on? Or is it just going to be, what happened with Cambodia, which was 31 of Survivor was such a really dynamic, fluid game, and then it never really returned to that forever. It never really has went back to that. I hope Big Brother is different in this situation, because it is such an interesting thing to watch compared to, Big Brother like 21 or like Big Brother, All Stars. We saw these big mass. To a lesser degree, as much as I love the cast, Big Brother 23 to a degree, it was literally just big alliance gets together, steamrolls their way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And 24, it was very weird circumstances that it's kind of hard to duplicate that. But like at 25, it has not been that. The first 2 weeks, the first 3 weeks, the first two HOHs went home. Like, never has happened ever. It's because these people, won the early comp, put the target on their back because of how they behaved. They got bad HOH-itis, whatever. And now we're seeing that Felicia, who's been HOH, is now starting to get in people's targeting ears. We're seeing Cameron, who was HOH, is getting that way. Only person who's won HOH and has successfully managed to keep blood off his hands is Jared. And even then, his reign's not over yet. So we're going to see how that's going to turn out for him next week.
Yeah.
So it's really been, there is no game of Big Brother that has played out like 25. And that makes me really happy to say.
And I'm excited for the jury phase as well to see how this continues.
I agree. I feel like we always want to see, like, we look at 23 and like, is the game going to change? And the way that 23, is that going to be the new, you know, way that the game is played? And it turned out, no, not really in 24, because they couldn't play the same way, because it wasn't the same situation, and it was like different circumstances. Well, then it was like, okay, is a game like 24 going to play out this time around? Could that be the success? Could that be the blueprint for the next age of Big Brother players following the Taylor Hale method? Is that going to be the new meta? Is that going to be the new way to win these games? And now we see in 25, absolutely not. That's not going to play out the same way, because it's not the same people. I feel like we need, no two seasons are going to be alike. I know we all say 16 ruined modern day Big Brother because of how Derek played it and how flawless his game was, and like it. But even to that point, nobody has played a game like Derek played since 16. There's nobody who could say they played the same kind of game that Derek played. So I don't think 16 ruined it. It just gave it a new perspective. And I feel like each season after that is giving a new perspective on the game. And this season is going to give a brand new perspective on the game, because it's going to be like, we could play the social game like Taylor Hale and win it that way. Or we could play this Survivor-esque type game that Sari just introduced to us on Big Brother, because it's like, like you said, voting blocks. We hadn't seen a lot of voting blocks happen, and it was like this thing, this, that. Or we could go back to a Tyler game and make sure the HOH at the beginning sets the tone for the rest of the game. But he still had to finesse that, and he still didn't win. So it's kind of like, how do we combine all of these great plays and these great players and this great gameplay to come up with this, I guess, blueprint of how to play Big Brother? And guess what? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there ever will be a blueprint on how to play Big Brother, because everybody is different. All these people coming together are going to have different reactions to different things. So I just feel like, instead of waiting on trying to figure out the blueprint and the meta for the next season, enjoy this season for what it is, and then let the people who come in on the next season pick and choose how they want to play it. And then we'll be sitting right here next season like, oh my God, either they're playing it like this and it's great, or oh my God, they're playing like this and this is so horrible. But it's still their way of playing it, and it's going to work out how it works out. I just feel like this dynamic is just interesting. It's just a very interesting dynamic in this house. I'm enjoying watching it.
I'm enjoying it as well. So that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got one more day until the eviction. As of right now, Red will be leaving by a vote of 8-2. Not on his birthday, but 2 days after his birthday.
Mhm.
So
Daughter's birthday.
I can't believe that 2 days after his birthday, you all would blindside him like this.
I mean, it is his birthday year. How dare you?
It is his birthday decade.
It's his birthday year, and that is rude. But as Izzy say, the hats have been off, the balloons have been deflated. We move. We ate the cake. We move. So I'm like, period.
I thought that was Felicia.
Izzy said that. Well, that's what I saw. I'm like, but I love that.
No, it is. He's going full Trina Vega with that birth week, but it's okay. It's okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this recap of Big Brother 25. We will be back, as always, on Friday to talk about the eviction, the new HOH, what we know so far. So join us Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern for that. And make sure to join us also next week on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And our normal Wednesday time slot at 3 p.m. Eastern as well. Hit all the buttons except for the dislike. Get your merch. Link in the description below. Cup mug. And thank you for joining. Follow, like, share, do the things, and the other things. And additionally, the other things.
And also, if you like Drag Race and you haven't subscribed to the main channel, go ahead and slide it over there. We just broke 900 subscribers this morning. So if you want to help us get to that goal of 1,000 by the end of the year, then go ahead and slide over there and hit that big red subscribe button.
Period. We would love you for that, and we appreciate for you for doing it.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
From way outside the Big Brother house, we've been the Cup. Love yourself.
Who?
Good night, house.
Hey.
Night. Stay. I said
Who?